Paper Republic or Louise Carmen? Let's talk about it. Combined, I've been using like a leather cover journal for over a year now, and I definitely have my opinions. And I want to start off by saying first that I'm not paid or sponsored or anything in any way. I've been sent some products and I'll disclose that when we get there, but most of these things I've spent my own money on and all my opinions are mine. I love a good notebook. This is the current collection. These are my Paper Republic journals. I have 2, and then I have 3 Louise Carmens. Bit of a spoiler alert, but I use my Paper Republic every single day. These are my babies and I will use them for the rest of my life. I want to preface this video by saying that I'm not trying to sway you for one or another. I'm really just explaining my opinions, my experiences with both notebooks. I think that they're both gorgeous and stunningly made. And at the end of the day, honestly, just depends on the kind of journal that you're looking for, the kind of writer and journaler that you are, and just depends on what you need personally. I'm just going to give you an overview on everything I have really quick before diving in. I have the Paper Republic Lip Portfolio in A5, and then I also have the same portfolio by Paper Republic in A6, so the smaller size. Then I have these Louise Carmen journals. This was my first purchase of theirs. This is their road book. Second purchase of theirs, their Little Earnest journal. Louise Carmen sent me this portfolio version. Super quick overview before actually getting into everything. I want to tell you my experience with my first 2 journals by each brand, Paper Republic, Louise Carmen. I bought this portfolio in November of 2023, and I used it every day when I first got it. I absolutely loved it. I had no qualms with it whatsoever. And then, like I've said a million times, I had a solo trip to Europe in January of 2024 for a month. And this was with me everywhere. Since I was solo, I was pulling it out at every restaurant. I was bringing this into the studio where I was working, making jewelry, and this was just really my lifeline, and it means so much to me. And so that's important to know. I pulled this out everywhere and I felt inclined to. When I bought this, I did not intend on ever buying another leather journal because the whole point for me was that this would kind of be my source for all the rest of my journals, and I wouldn't need more than one leather journal because that kind of defeats the purpose to me. I've changed my mind since then. But then I saw Louise Carmen after a few months of having this, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit bummed because I just thought the design of the Louise Carmen was just so stunning, and that's what sold me. However, what ended up happening is that I transferred all of my stuff from my Paper Republic to my Louise Carmen road book, and I realized that I almost completely stopped journaling. I stopped pulling it out at restaurants. I wasn't using it at night anymore, and I didn't realize until eventually I was like, I'm just like not journaling as much, which is so not me. And I thought about it and I reflected and I realized why. They're trifold, do not lay flat for me. Now that trifold aspect was actually another thing that really sold me because I like the idea of this covering the paper inside, because unlike the Paper Republic, it doesn't have that option. And I throw my stuff in my bags, I'm very rough with it. So I wanted some level of protection. But because of that detail, I just found myself writing in it way less. So this is kind of my reasoning. I know it doesn't look like much, but for some reason, I just stopped journaling altogether. Something about like this made it feel so enclosed, and I just like didn't want to journal anymore. I have no really other explanation as to why. It was just the case. And I mean, like, you can fold it out of the way. You really can like mold it out of the way. Just for some reason, it just didn't suit me. Let's start comparing the 2 big journals from each brand. This is the Lip Portfolio, and then this is the Louise Carmen portfolio version. I will say with either journal that you get, for me, in my opinion, I liked investing in the portfolio version because otherwise you're kind of just spending on a leather cover, which is nice, but I feel like if I'm already spending the money, I want to add a little bit more function to the piece. I think that it's just so worth it. The pockets have been so useful for me. You can add pens here, however I add my jewelry tools in here, stuff in here. You should have seen it when I came back from Italy. It was like stuffed to the brim with stuff, and it was just so perfect, especially if you're traveling or you just love journaling and you save like your receipts and stuff. It's perfect. In the back, you have these, which is really great because when I travel, I like to take all the business cards from the different shops that I go to. So I was packing them in here. I have my personal business cards, stickers. It's just the portfolio of the Paper Republic is delicious. It's perfect. I have no notes. Last time I talked about this journal, someone didn't believe me that I've had this since November 2023, and I have. Like, I am also extremely rough with my journals. I am not careful with them. They get thrown in all of my bags. I'm so rough. And look at how stunning this thing looks. It's so shiny, it's gorgeous, and it's just like, it's so delicious. Again, I have no notes for this. It's just, it is what it is. It's a brilliant, beautiful, useful notebook. Fits my lifestyle perfectly. The amount of notebooks that the Paper Republic journals carry really varies because it depends on the thickness of each journal. And unlike Louise Carmen, they do not have like a built-in amount that you can put in. Their system is through wrapping additional like elastics around each notebook, so you can add as many or as little as you want. Whereas the Louise Carmen does have already a built-in amount. So it has, this one has 2 that you can put in, and then their road book you can put in 4. I also don't really love that detail because if I'm spending the money, I want to be flexible with the amount of notebooks that I can put in. Design-wise, right away, you can see that the Louise Carmen has rounded edges, Paper Republic has sharp. I think the rounded edges are so beautiful, as well as many of the other design components of Louise Carmen, which I will get into later. But of course, it's just a gorgeous journal. It truly is. However, my opinions on this journal just make it that I don't use it as much as I would like to, especially for the price. But again, some people have no issue with the lay flat stuff, and so it just really depends on your preference, because truly you can't go wrong. These are both stunning notebooks. You'll see that the leather is very comparable to the Paper Republic. It's thick, it has like this stitching on the edge, and I'm going to show you because the road book does not have that. However, like I said, this is the comparable version to the portfolio, and as you can see, you only have 1 pocket here. And then on the back, you have some more. You have similar pockets in the back as the Paper Republic, but very minimal up here, which I actually just find that I don't even use at all. So then, of course, like I said, the biggest thing is the lay flat issue. The Paper Republic journal, like, she lays flat, whereas this one, you do have to like bend it more. And like people told me, like, you have to break it in a bit, and I get it, but for some reason it just annoys me. I have no other explanation for it. It has a max of 2 notebooks in this one, but I did add a 3rd one with just like the method that Paper Republic does by like stringing another elastic, and it works. It's totally fine. But again, the trifold aspect will cause some limitations with how many notebooks you can shove in here, but it's fine. The road book is very curious to me. The reason I selected this initially over the portfolio was because I really liked how like supple and like soft the leather looked once it kind of aged. But now that I'm comparing it to the Louise Carmen portfolio or the Paper Republic especially, I kind of have some issues with it. It's a very, very thin piece of leather. It's kind of just like cut out of a piece of leather, and it has no additional stitching, whereas the portfolio actually does have that additional stitching. So I'm kind of confused why one version has it and the other doesn't. I never ever use this, just a leather cover, which again, that's on me. I selected that because I wanted to customize it with the cute little slide-in portfolio that they have. I think that this is such a beautiful and smart system because you can additionally customize with more leather, and it's just gorgeous. But I just did not use it when I had it. And then as you can see, the flap again really, really bothered me. It holds 6 journals, which is nice. And I think that's a lot for a journal like this, so it was good. And then the fact that this is just a very thin piece of leather compared to like this like stitched on Paper Republic or again the Louise Carmen. So I don't understand really the like inconsistencies in that. I guess it's because it has a pocket, but I think that the Paper Republic, just like their single cover, still has that stitching. So I don't know, I am not sure. Let's talk about the small journals. This is Louise Carmen Earnest, and then this is the Paper Republic Lit Portfolio in A6. I got my timeline wrong a little bit earlier, but I wanted to give this a try by Louise Carmen because I just thought this brown was so delicious, and it is. I love their color, leather color options. It is just so cute. But again, it has this, it's very like thin piece of leather, which I have really no issue with. It's just something that I noticed and compared to the other journals. It's literally like just a cutout piece of leather, but it's really pretty, the color. I love how it patinaed. And it looks a bit rough because I dropped boiling water on it. So ignore the discoloration. Again, no pocket on the inside, but I was okay with that. And then you can put, I think, 4 journals in here. Oh, what's nice is that there is a little pocket in the back and a pen holder, so it's fine. However, when I did have this, again, I just wasn't using it as much as I wanted to. And the reason I got a small one is because I wanted something for my purse to always have with me, because this thing gets kind of heavy and I don't always have a purse that fits it. So I had a little version. And yeah, I used it. I definitely used it more than I used the road book. I think because of the size, it made this like trifold thing a little bit more manageable. And just like the flap being there just bothers me. It makes everything feel so closed in, like blocks so much light. I don't know what it is, and I'm sure like it's just me with this issue because it really is not that big of a deal, but you'll see the difference. It does lay flat, but I don't know, it just has a very different writing experience to me. So after a few months of using this, I asked Paper Republic if they would send me their version of the portfolio, the small one, because I just was so in love with my big one that I was like, let me try this one. And I love the color as well. They were so nice to send me this, and I love it. I've been using this for like 6 months now, and this is my everyday baby. I use it every single day, everywhere it goes with me. I have never missed a day of using it. It's my whole world right here. So it's their like chestnut color. And then I have all my journals in here. So I recommend like if you're gonna get a leather cover, just go for the portfolio version because at least you have this added function. And it's the same format as the bigger one. So you have a little pocket here, skinny one here, and then extra space there. And then in the back, the same thing, and it's just so useful. So this is how it lays flat. Ignore all my notebooks in here because I have quite a bit in here, but it just lays flat. It's so open, so airy, and because of that, I just always find myself engaging so much with this notebook. I just love it so much. So while the functionality of each notebook is definitely important, there are definitely some aesthetic considerations that I know we're all thinking because these are so satisfying and they're a little bit different. First notable difference is the font that Louise Carmen uses. It's very small, delicate. I absolutely love their font. And then you can do like a lowercase font on the inside of the flap, and that additional flap gives you more space to customize. I don't love the font that Paper Republic uses, so when I have embossed, I did the like invisible one. I think the thing that makes the Louise Carmen journals super extra appealing is like their endless customizing opportunities, and I definitely agree, especially with being able to additionally engrave the inside of the flap, and they have different colors. Their font is very delicate, and then they also have the charms, which I will get into in a second. This is kind of my thought with customizing though, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. To me, the customizing is so fun. You get a really chic, beautiful product. I understand that, but I find that there's nothing more chic than a product that you're really going to use and you're going to live with. So that's kind of how I ended up feeling about my Paper Republic. I'm just like, maybe aesthetically it's not as perfect, as delicious as like some of the options that Louise Carmen has, but the way that this has aged and lived with me, I'm like, I wouldn't trade it for the world. There's some other aesthetic considerations, like the fact that Louise Carmen has the round edges. I think the round edges are delicious, but not something I really notice. And then I don't like that this version does not have that stitching. Like I said, it's just a very thin piece of leather, which is kind of odd. But if you get their portfolio version, they do have it. So it's just kind of weird a little bit. I don't know. So with all that being said, in terms of customization, Paper Republic actually just like launched like their online atelier thing where you can like really customize your journal now. So you can actually get a Paper Republic in a trifold. You can get engraving on the inside. You can do longer engravings now. You can do lowercase stuff, different colors. So they essentially have everything now that Louise Carmen has. The difference now is like the charms, obviously, and then the font and stuff. And another like design aspect of these two journals is that Louise Carmen has these pretty little metal, I forgot what they're called, but the Paper Republic just has a hole. And I think that these little details make a big difference in how the final product looks. It's very beautiful. But the Paper Republic, just like the basic version that you buy, does not have that. However, aside from like their online atelier that you can do, they also have a customizing option that you email and they custom make a product for you. They can do any size journal, anything. Like they have done like a leather horse on top of one. The thing is, if you want that, you can actually have Paper Republic do it for you. They're doing everything over there. You can really get whatever you want done by Paper Republic as well. But Louise Carmen obviously also has their own experience, which is like that in-store opportunity of customizing with the charms and stuff. You may notice that I have no charms from Louise Carmen, or maybe you don't know that. I actually handmade this one, which I really love. And then obviously these are the July Rose Jewelry journal jewelry charms that I made for myself once I got these journals because I wanted something for me. Here's another journal charm that we recently made based off of a swan wing. I think the journal charms that Louise Carmen has are beautiful and cute, but for me, I just didn't really feel authentic to me to just like pick out a bunch of charms from someone else's collection. I wanted the charms to be sentimental to me and to be kind of built over time. Kind of just like how you do it with like a bag. Like I'm not gonna just like buy a bunch of stock charms for my bag. I want them to be collected. And that's how I felt about those journal charms. So I wanted to create some for myself that I just felt really in love with. So this is based off of a swan in Prague that I loved. And then I made off of our heirloom nameplate necklaces, I made a small version for the journals so that you can title it yourself. And so this one says Museum of Me, which is the same engraving that I have on my Louise Carmen road book, because I really did love that engraving. So I did Museum of Me on here, which I love so much. On this one, I put Diary of Jalissa. So the feedback on the July Rose journal jewelry charms that I've gotten is like, people have said, I can imagine myself like getting old and dusting this off and like seeing the patina of the charm also included with the leather. Like The charm itself has an included sentiment. That was really the goal of me making it. So that for me was kind of where that idea came from, and it ended up working and so many people loved it. So that's just kind of my thought with the journal charm. So while Paper Republic doesn't offer that, you can add your own charms, and it can also be like necklace pendants that you have and you love, or you could go get some from an antique store or a thrift store. So there's a lot of options if you don't want to buy straight from their site. So Louise Carmen accessories, I really love that they had this little organizing system, which is their little floppy portfolio that you can slide into the road book as shown here. I picked this really cute blush one. Again, like I said, the system is brilliant. I think it's beautiful. You have a zipper here, which was really handy for me sometimes actually. And then you have a little pen holder and a pocket back here. I think it's great. I love that it adds color to your journal, but again, I just don't use it a lot, and it does add significantly to the price, but it's just so cute. And I've had a lot of people ask me, does it fit into a Paper Republic journal? Totally does fit into at least the Paper Republic portfolio. But the thing is, like, I don't really see why you would need that because you already have so much storage in there built in. Paper Republic right now doesn't have this kind of system, so this is definitely unique to Louise Carmen, and I love it. And they have other colors, it's very cute. I'm gonna quickly talk about the notebook refills, as it's, to me, just like not that important. I really like, again, design-wise, Louise Carmen does it so well. I like the black journal. I think that it's super pretty, the refill. I'm not going to spend like $40 on shipping from France to get a notebook. I just use moleskin replacements. So this is moleskin, literally the exact same thing. And then this is the Paper Republic one, just a small dotted notebook. Nothing really crazy or important there. The Louise Carmen fits perfectly into my Paper Republic. As you can see, I do use a lot because I have so many extra ones. I also actually have both of their leather bombs, which is funny. Louise Carmen sent me this, and I think, again, it's just funny aesthetically and design-wise. Like, Louise Carmen is so beautiful. I love this little tin, and it's just their protection balm, so you can apply it onto your journal. I put the Louise Carmen one on this one today, and it's fine. It's actually very liquidy in comparison to the Paper Republic one, which is the one I used most often. It's like this balm. I don't love the smell of either one. I think probably Louise Carmen's a little bit better. They both smell kind of odd to me though, but I use this one the most, and I put it on all of my journals to kind of protect it being thrown in my bag and stuff. And I'd say my journals look pretty good. Again, no care goes into these besides putting that leather moisturizer, and I've done that like once on this one, and I think maybe 3 times on this one, and it looks so good. So that's that. My final thoughts on these journals is that pick whatever you find will be most functional and realistic for you. Which one do you see yourself grabbing the most? And which one do you really want to live in your life in terms of function? I'm telling you, that's the most important thing, because I know that they're very beautiful, but you want something that you're spending this much money on to be very practical and that you're using all the time. And I promise you that the more use that you put in it, the more life that you put into your journal, that's what makes it beautiful, not the initial product. I'm telling you, if you have something that you're just not going to use, it will not hit the same as something that you're just grabbing all the time and it has just like all this life and soul and patina. Let me know if you have any other questions, and until then, I'll talk to you later. See ya. Ooh.